we realize that we need to do all we can and more. And we need to do it now. That's why I'm very happy to have a person that is actually taking action now here with me in the studio. Welcome here, Simon Holmström. You're a member of the parliament at Åland lagting. And for those of you that might not know, Åland is a fairly small island between Sweden and Finland. Simon, well, you can pronounce it either Scandinavian or English. Welcome to Stockholm.
Thank you so much.
You're thinking big. You're a small island, but you're thinking very big when it comes to halving emissions. Please tell us about what you're doing.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here talking about politics and not just business. Because, let's start with the people, really. Because we saw in the movie that people are getting frustrated. They are getting angry at politicians. And I became a politician last year, actually. I wanted really to step up the work because parliaments and governments, they are really lagging behind. But what is so beautiful with the Åland Islands is that the parliament has decided that the Åland Islands should be fully sustainable by the latest 2051, a few years ago, and also adopted an agenda for how to achieve that. So when I stepped into politics, I saw that a lot of things were happening, but one thing was really missing. And that was the frustration of people, because we need to do something more. We need to talk about other stuff than just targets and years and defining what climate neutral is and so on. Let's talk about stopping the use of fossil fuels, because that is really what we should do. Stop using it, and let's set a date for that. So what I've been doing with my fellow parliamentarians is that we've made an initiative to the Nordic Council. We want the entire Nordics to do this. So this is really radical, I know, and nobody has ever done it. So I'm really flattered that you want to have me here and showcase this to the world.
And the stop date would be?
Well, I don't think that politicians should set a date, because you know what happens then. I think that the scientists should do it.
Excellent.
So let's just set a date and let the scientists do it for us.
That's excellent. How come you're so bold?
We're living in a decade now, which is very decisive. That has been said already here. So I think we have to step up on every level, in the parliament, in the government, on a Nordic scale. We have to show that it is possible to have welfare, to have a good financial situation, growth, when we're also dealing with the climate crisis. And we have to use our tools, such as legislation, to do it. Setting an end date is a ban, in a way, but I think it's necessary to go that far, because we haven't got time.
And you told me just before we stepped on the stage that you have some news, more news, to introduce here today.
Exactly. We're not just saying to others what they should do, we're also trying to be responsible ourselves on the Åland Islands. We're a little community, 30,000 inhabitants. We're also autonomous, so we can decide what we're doing with our land and our water. So last week it was announced, the government announced a willingness to have 500 wind turbines, offshore wind power on the Åland Islands, which is, it's really huge. It compares to 3 or 4 nuclear power plants.
Wow.
So, and that could also, that would, I think, according to the estimations, be half of the Finnish energy demand, or electricity demand. So it's really huge.
That's fantastic. Excuse me, Simon. Somebody interrupting me in my ear here. The hydrogen motorcade from Mariestad is actually arriving here, and I think they'd like to come into the stage. So let's see what's happening outside. We see here on the screen that the car is outside, and but it's actually 300 kilometers they drove, not 30. So let's hear it's Mattias Goldmann from Sweco and Susanne Wallner from the city of Mariestad, also a brave municipality taking action, right? And they're entering here now into the building, to the studio. And thank you so much, Simon, for sharing the great news, by the way, while we wait for the people to come in. And they need a microphone. They will be up here on the stage. There they are. Hey, Mattias. Hey, Susanne. Great to have you here with us. Please join me. Corona safe distance, but yet. So Susanne, there's one bold person over here, Simon von Åland, and you're a brave and bold person from Mariestad. How come you're doing this? What fuels you? Excuse the pun.
It really comes from the heart, the things I work with daily. And I think we don't have time, so it's quite easy to do this change for us in Mariestad.
And tell us more about the endeavor.
What we do is a concept that we have in our municipality called Electric Village. And we have different kind of projects to be fossil-free, for example, but also to reach the global goals together. So our companies can make this change to be more sustainable and get the circular economy on their business.
Well, thank you. Mattias Goldmann, you're from Sweco Group. How come you're involved and why are you on this sort of road trip, the motorcade?
Well, I want to be part of everything that's front runner and really gives us the exponential change that we need. And when the whole world decided with the Paris Agreement that we are going to combat climate change, Sweden said, well, we want to be a front runner here. We want to be a role model. And then somebody within Sweden has to take the lead. And that is what I'm so excited to see that the tiny municipality of Mariestad is really doing.
Well, the small municipalities can make big changes. Well, best of luck, trailblazers, and best of luck here in Stockholm to make some impact with what you're planning to do and what you're doing already. Thanks so much.
We will. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
As we stated in the beginning, we need action. We have the solutions and we need to act on them. A person who really knows how to act and implement solutions is Ingmar Renssock. He's the CEO of We Don't Have Time and also the founder. Great to have you with me here next to me on the stage, Ingmar. Why are you doing this and why are you hosting this event specifically?
Thank you, Katarina. I hosting this event is mainly because of this reason. This is my 3 children. It's because of them that I left my career in the finance industry 3 years ago to found the We Don't Have Time organization. And the reason for that is that when my daughter, my oldest daughter here, is turning 18 years old, when she could decide for herself, vote on our elections, and do her own decision about the future, this clock here has turned to 0. We don't have time to wait. We need action now. And it's incredible how much action we actually have seen here today. We know how to do this. We have the exponential roadmap to succeed. And what we have learned is that we need to reduce our own emission. We need to cut it at half in 10 years and hopefully more. We also need to reduce our value chain emissions. And we need to integrate climate into the business strategy. We need to make the whole business, whole government, everything, we need to make it work within the planet boundaries. We need to have it in the strategy. If we do all this, we have seen incredible example of leaders starting to do this on an exponential scale. If we succeed with that, it will still not be enough. Because we also need to influence climate action in society. We must have everyone follow. We need to inspire the whole world to do this. We will never succeed only if we that only have been awakening about the climate is doing action. We need everyone. So it's super important to influence climate action in society. And this is exactly what We Don't Have Time is all about. This summit, we have already had over 4 million viewers in total on Twitter. We need to reach billions, but it's a start. And what you can do more when watching those conferences on our platform is that you can give climate love, ideas and warnings to leaders, to businesses, to governments. You could give climate love to someone you think you're doing something good. You will encourage them to do more. And you want to inspire others to follow. Or you could give a climate ID. We need lots of ideas, but we need to implement them exponentially on scale. So instead of starting your own business, maybe it's more efficient to give away that idea to an old business that could change super fast. That you could do on this platform. And you can also give climate warnings to all those that are doing the wrong things. Not for shaming them, but for telling them that they need to change. And it's super easy to do this. The only thing you need to do is to go into our website and register. And the good news, many leaders, businesses, governments want your opinion. They want to know how they could improve. So the businesses you have seen here today and the governments as well, they are open for climate dialogue, and you can have it on the We Don't Have Time platform. Because we must do this, not tomorrow, we must do this today. And please join us before that clock turns to zero.
Thank you so much, Ingmar, for being so passionate and so driven about this. It's really touching. And this climate review system that you are doing here on We Don't Have Time, it is amazing. And I do know that you have some more amazing news here to present today.
Yes, we have some good news. And that is, we have a lot of love to give. Mm-hmm. The We Don't Have Time Foundation, that is the main owner of the company We Don't Have Time, has decided to give out a yearly grant of $5,000 to the best climate action, the best inspiration on our platform. And I have 3 prizes to give. And the first one is for the best climate love. And here goes the fireworks. And this is fossil-free.
And digital.
And digital. And the winner of this climate love is our member Emma Berlin, that created a really efficient campaign, climate love review to Oatly. Because what Oatly have done is they have started to climate label all their products. So when you buy a Oatly milk here, you will see how much emission they have emitted. Mm-hmm. Now, 1 year later, a lot of businesses is doing this. Unilever, that is one of the world's largest business within the food industry, with billions of customers, have promised to do the same. That will educate billions of people about food and emission and start a lot of thoughts and engagement for that. So this is a huge impact. And of course, it's not just because Emma Berlin, but Emma Berlin is helping this solution to be shared about the whole world. So congratulations, Emma.
Congratulations, Emma. And how about climate ideas? Because you can also post them on the web,
yes,
on the platform.
And we had a lot of them. So it was a really, really hard discussion in the board and the jury of We Don't Have Time Foundation. But we have a winner. And we have the fireworks again. And the winner is Patrick Kias. And this idea is also very simple idea. It's called Borrowing from the Future. And it's all about educate young people on the African continent with help of digital tools as we use today. That's cheap. Many people have access to them. And it will have a great impact, because could we educate the whole African continent, we will have lots of climate activists working on solutions. And I think that's super needed. So big congratulations to Patrick Kajas.
And this also shows that the app is used worldwide.
Absolutely. This is a worldwide problem, and we're going to cover all parts of the world, not just the part we have seen on this summit, but we will have future summit with other covers from whole world.
How about climate warning? Who is the winner in this aspect?
The winner of the climate warning, we have talked about this earlier today, actually. We have the fossil-free fireworks. And the winner is Sara Ivarsson, because she's one of the first activists that were started to mobilizing against this oil refinery that is eventually not going to be built here in Sweden. And we think this was a really achievement because Sara didn't target the company behind. She targeted courts and wanted them to take up and reconsider the decision to allow this oil refinery to be built because it's against the climate laws here in Sweden. But unfortunately, they did approve it the second time too. But the climate movement hasn't given up. Now it's engaged in many organizations around the world. So today, our government is having a vote on this issue. And we would like to give Sara Ivarsson $2,500 in that fight because we don't have time for more oil refineries. We don't have the carbon budget. We have heard it from the scientists here today. So big congrats to Sara Ivarsson and to everyone. Sign up on the Wheel of Time platform. You don't need to be an activist. You can just agree on other ideas, climate love and climate warning, and share the love. Do something, inspire others. It's easy. And please do it before that clock stops.
Thank you very much, Ingmar. Let's have Johan Falk from Exponential Roadmap join us, and also Mats Pedbeck-Sharp from Ericsson. I'd like to conclude and hear what your final remarks are from this amazing afternoon here in the studio in Stockholm. I'd like to start with you, Johan. Which are your main takeaways?
Yes, Katarina, we know that the solution exists. We know the pace that we need to take to halve emissions by 2030. We also know that the companies, we have a number of actors which actually are cutting emissions in the pace we actually need. We have tons of examples. The key point now is that everyone becomes the climate leader, that we step up, we reach that critical mass, because then it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Thank you very much, Johan Falk. I'd also like to introduce Nick Nuttall, who's been popping in and out all day, sharing your insights and sharing the questions from the viewers. Nick, what are your main takeaways?
Two main takeaways. One is that the clock has moved on. When we kicked off this show, it was 16 seconds, 57 minutes, 10 hours, 100 days, and 9 years. And you can already see that the time and the clock is ticking. And the second thing is, from some of the questions, but also from listening to some of the speakers, we need another Exponential Climate Action Summit for two reasons. We need to bring more of the developing world in, that's for sure, as Ingmar said. But also we need the other big areas as well, the finance area, food, oceans, land, agriculture. We need to have a look at those as well in the next show.
Thank you, Nick. How about you, Mats? What are your main takeaways?
I think proactive companies are taking action, and that is really good. But we see that we need to be many more. So I think that also now providing the push and the pull, I mean the playbook and the requirements in supply chain, I think is really good. And then I also have one thing that I sort of thought about during the day, and that was there is such a big crossover between sectors. Talking about energy and being the key stopper for heavy transports, and then you need digitalization on top of that. So I think that that together with the lagging policies, I think is really something to think about how we can drive that. And then, of course, I have to end with saying that digitalization, as we have talked about all day, is really the solution. And we saw the fantastic work from Vodafone, for instance, showing how much that can really give. So kudos to that. And I think that that becoming concrete and happening already now. So let's do the right digitalization.
Thank you very much, Mats. Any other key messages anybody else would like to leave us with?
Yeah, I would like to say something, and we must influence others to follow. But in order to have trust to do that, we also need to change ourselves in order to influence others. Because if you don't do it yourself, no one will listen. So I think it's super important for especially business leaders to not only lead by their business, but also lead by their individual lifestyle choices. I don't think you must do it, but I think if you do it, you will be much more efficient in your message.
And more credible.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Mats, Johan, Ingmar, and Nick, for doing such a great job here on the broadcast today. And it's been a fabulous day here. So much information, so much inspiration has been shared.